Hey everyone, so I just wanted to do a little tutorial to kind of help you out with finding the Lab 6 data and then inputting that into Excel. So when you go to this USGS water interface website, from the data category drop-down, select surface water, and then in geographic area, select Ohio, and then click Go. And then on this page, scroll down to peak flow data. And it will take you to this peak stream flow for Ohio page. We're going to click the checkbox next to site name and then submit. And then on this next page, we're going to type Maumee into this site name box. Scroll down and click submit. And then there are 3 sites on the Maumee River. And we want to select the Defiance, Ohio one. So we will click on the site number for the Defiance, Ohio Maumee River gauging station. And then it will take us to this page showing all of these stream flow data. Make sure that you note what the height of the gauge datum is over here on the left, because you'll need it later in your lab. And then to get this information into Excel, we're going to click here under Output Formats on Tab Separated File. And that will bring you to this page with a lot of information on it. We're going to scroll down on this page until we see agency_CD. And then we're going to drag and highlight all of the information starting with agency_CD all the way down to the bottom of the page. And then I'm going to Control-C, or you can right-click copy. And then I'm going to open Excel, just a blank workbook. And in this very top box of Excel, I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to select Paste Special. This is a little different on Mac, so if you have a Mac and you're struggling, send me an email and we can video chat and work it out. But you want to select the Unicode text option. So on PC and Mac, select the Unicode text option and then click OK. And then it will copy and paste your information into individual boxes. So now we can see all of this data from the website is now available for us to use in Excel. These hashtags here just means that the box isn't big enough to show all the data. So if you just double click on the edge between the box and the next box, it will automatically resize the boxes for you so all of that data shows up. Right? So if you'd like to see all of these labels, you can do that. So the only 3 rows we need are peak DT, peak VA, and gauge height. And so we can go ahead and delete all the other columns. You do this by selecting the letter for the column at the top, right-clicking, and choosing delete. So we're going to delete all those that we don't need. The only 3 that we need are peak DT, peak VA, and gauge height. And then we can also delete this row here, row 2. So click on the 2, right click, and select delete. So now we have all of our information in Excel. We're going to need 2 columns, one in between each of the columns we already have. So if you right click insert, it will insert those columns for you. And then we're going to change these labels to reflect what our lab says. And in our new columns, we're going to add rank and our recurrence interval. So now for rank, what you can do is you can select all of the columns of data and then go to sort and filter. And then go to custom sort. And then we want to sort by discharge. We want to sort on values, and we want to sort on largest to smallest. Make sure the My Data Has Headers box is checked. And so that sorted all of the data based on the discharge number with the largest discharge at the top down to the lowest. So for rank, we're just going to number these with 1 being the largest, 2 being the next largest, and so on. So kind of a fun tip is you can get a couple going, you can highlight them, double click the bottom of this box where the square is when this black crosshair shows up, and then we'll drag all that information down for you. And then our recurrence interval depends on rank and discharge. And so it depends on this equation, which is here in your notes, or sorry, in your lab manual. And so we're going to write this equation for our recurrence interval, which is n plus 1, which is the number of years we have on record. We have 94 years on record, plus 1 year. So we're going to put 95 divided by our rank number. So we're going to do 90 equals 95 divided by, and then you click on this rank box, and then you don't click anything else, just hit enter. And then because this was next to the date column, it thinks it's a date. If we just highlight this column and make it a number, it will change it then to a number. And if we highlight this box, click on this box, wait for the crosshairs on the bottom right to show up, we can just double click and it will drag that equation all the way down to the end of our data. So that is how you get your data into Excel to later make up your plot.